What's up, Earth? Jajana here. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? I hope that you are doing wonderfully well. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, thank you for checking out this channel. And if you're not new, thank you for staying loyal to the channel where we talk about K-dramas, Nollywood movies, and all that great stuff, and take life lessons from them and applying those life lessons in whatever we might be facing. And today we're talking about surviving the long distance and the K-drama business proposal. But before we get into it, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that when we have a new episode up, you can check it out. All right, thank you so much for doing it. Now let's get into business proposal and surviving the distance. So are you in a long distance relationship and you're wondering how you're going to make it work? Because yes, it's not easy. Well, I think I can help. I have some tips for you from the K-drama business proposal. But you know what time it is? It's rundown time about the drama. So it is a 2022 K-drama. It does have subtitles and dubbing, and it is on Netflix, okay? So, in a disguise as her friend, Hari shows up to a blind date, right, to scare him away. But, of course, plans go awry when he turns out to be her CEO and makes a proposal. And it's played by Annie Sob, and he's the CEO, called Kang Tae-moo. And then Hari is played by Kim Si-jong. Okay, so Kang Tae-moo has been pressured by his grandfather to go on dates because his grandfather believed that he was working too much. He was too focused on the business. The grandfather is actually the owner of the company as well. So he really wants his grandson to have kids and be married and be happy. And because his grandson lost both his parents in an accident. So to get his grandfather off his back, Kang Tae-moo decides to marry the first person he goes on the blind date with, which is Hari. But he's not aware that Hari is one of his employees, right? But he does end up falling for the fake friend of Hari, right? But then in the end, he does discover that Hari is one of his employees. The problem with that is that Kang Tae-moo's grandfather doesn't like Hari. They've had 2 run-ins with each other and it hasn't been good, right? So the grandfather hasn't really liked Hari. So it was a challenge to try to get the grandfather to like Hari. But as we get towards the end of this series, his grandfather gets sick with cancer, I believe. And so they have some treatment in New York that could help his grandfather. So he decides that he's going to go with his grandfather because literally it's just the 2 of them. They rely on each other. So Kang Tae-moo decides that he wants Hari to come with him, right? Because he didn't want to be away from her. But Hari decides that she was going to stay in Korea because it's where her family lives and it's also where her career is. Even though he said, he can transfer her to their New York branch, but she didn't want that. And so he wondered if they could survive the long distance, right? So this is how they survived the long distance. Let's talk about how they did that. So tip 1 is communicating. I think in life, as human beings, it's super important that we communicate, period. There's no question marks, there's no buts. It's important that we communicate. So it's really, really important that you stay connected with your partner, whether it's through messages, calls, video chats. Kang Tae-moo and Harry, they always had a video chat. Like they had a set time where they would talk on video, and it really strengthened their relationship. And so although it seems like you're distant, you're making an effort to talk to one another every day and share your thoughts and feelings. How did your day go? Or even through the day, like how is it going? Thinking about you. Those type of messages, because it is so key to communicate. When my friend reconnected with a guy that she had been out of connection with for over 10 years, he was in Seattle and she was in Texas. And so when they reconnected, they were just talking all the time. She did eventually get a job that moved her to Seattle to be with him. But before then, they were communicating every single moment. So it is so key to keep that in the back of your mind, that you have to communicate with this person. Tip number 2, trust. Trust. It's a big one, right? Trust plays a role in every area of our lives. But when you're in a long distance relationship, you gotta have that. You cannot think she's cheating on you. Oh, he's cheating on me. No. And the way to truly keep that trust is having transparency. It's so important to be transparent about your life. Everything you're doing has to be accounted for. It's not in a way that, oh, I'm checking on you. It's just that I want you to know that I am involved in your life. I am participating in your life. And this way you avoid jealousy. And this way you also respect each other's boundaries, because you know what each person is doing from day to day, right? So it is important to have that transparency. Tip 3, plan visits and meetups. Physical presence is crucial in a long distance relationship, so you've got to coordinate your schedules. And if money is an issue, save the money and make the effort to see each other whenever possible. When Kang Tae-moo was in New York, there was a story that had broken about him dating a model. And so Harry was worried about that. And so, because she's a regular girl, right? She works for him. And here's this model from a rich family. And, they're showing that, oh, they're dating each other. And it worried her, right? And so she decided that she was going to fly over to New York to get this straightened out. Like she was, going to confront him. But I do believe that he did travel within that 1 year of them being apart. He did travel to Korea to see her. But you've got to plan those visits. You have to be intentional. I think everything about having a long distance has to be intentional. You have to work a lot harder. Okay? So tip number 4, embrace a positive mindset about your long distance relationship. And the way to do that is to focus on your personal growth, on your hobbies, on your career goals, and then encouraging each other's dreams and celebrating your achievements. It's like you really discover who you are with this time apart. And so keeping that positive attitude, that positive mindset is going to keep you going, because there's no point in being negative about it. You have to stay positive. It's the only way to succeed. Tip number 5, have an end goal in mind. So what is the goal? What is the end? What does the end look like? Are you eventually going to move to the same state, to the same country? What does the end goal look like? You have to talk about that. You have to talk about your future and discuss what your goals are as a couple, right? Because the long distance can't be forever. like I said, my friend, she did move to Seattle. She has a business there, and they're thriving. But you have to eventually decide, we are going to move into the same state, the same country, because I don't know why you're in a long distance relationship. I don't know if it has to do with work, or you met each other in different parts of the country, and but you have to decide, what does that look like? What does the end goal look like? You can't just keep it in limbo, right? There's no point. There's really no point. And I believe when you do talk about your future, your end goal, it'll keep you guys motivated and give you something to look forward to. Okay, in the end, Kang Tae-moo did return to Korea because his grandfather was now better and he was healing well. And when he came back, he proposed to her because his grandfather said that he shouldn't return unless he gave her the ring. So we realized that now her relationship with his grandfather was better, right? Business proposal was funny. The characters were well put together, well thought out, and it was just the power of love to overcome anything never ceases to amaze me. It's always a reminder in these Korean drama that although they're always realistic, love always seems to find a way. I do want to encourage you with Matthew 19:6. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no man separate. I know that it's referring to marriage, but it can also empower you in your long distance relationship to keep going, because you've decided that you want to be together, you want to make it work. But remember that it takes a lot of work and it's not easy, but you can do it if you remember to communicate effectively, trust, and have a positive mindset. But always know what your end goal is for your relationship. And talk about that. So I hope with these tips that you can survive your long distance relationship and build a strong and enduring relationship, because you know what? You deserve it. You really deserve a strong and enduring relationship. And if you can endure this long distance, my goodness, there is absolutely nothing you cannot face. You can face anything because you are able to work on your long distance relationship. All right, so I want to thank you all for listening, for watching. Until next time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video. Take care and take care of others. Bye.